The human ship Nightfall moved through space like a ghost. No lights shone from its hull. No heat came from its engines. Even the biggest scanners could not find it. Captain Jake Morrison stood on the bridge, watching the stars through the dark. View screen. His ship had been hiding in the Kepler system for 3 weeks now. "Captain, I'm getting something strange," said Lieutenant Amy Carter from her station. She was the ship's best sensor officer. Her fingers moved fast across the control panel. "There are big ships coming this way." "Really big ships." Jake walked over to Amy's station. The screen showed dots moving toward human space. Each dot was huge, much bigger than any human ship ever built. "How many?" he asked. "At least 40 ships, sir. Maybe more." Amy's voice was tight with worry. "They're not using any technology we know about. The energy readings are off the charts." Jake nodded slowly. He had been expecting this for months. The human government had sent scout ships like his to watch the outer edges of space. They were looking for exactly this kind of threat. "Send a message to Earth. Tell them the Watchers have arrived." On the other side of the galaxy, the alien ships moved closer to human territory. Inside the largest ship, Huntmaster Zektar studied a holographic map. The map showed star systems with small green dots. Each green dot was a world full of prey. "The next hunting ground looks perfect," Zektar said to his officers. His voice was a deep growl. The Veltar were large reptilian creatures with sharp teeth and claws. They had been hunting other species for over 1,000 years. The creatures there call themselves humans. "Our scouts say they are weak and soft." "How many humans live on their worlds?" asked one of his officers. "Billions," Zektar replied with a cruel smile. "Enough to feed our empire for many years, and enough to provide sport for our young hunters." The Veltar had a simple way of dealing with other species. First, they would attack without warning. Then they would capture the strongest beings to use as slaves. The weak ones became food. The rest were kept in cages for entertainment. "The humans have no real weapons," another officer said. "Their ships are small and slow. This will be an easy hunt." Zektar laughed. "It always is. In all our years of hunting, we have never found a species that could fight back. These humans will be no different." Back on the human ship, Jake was reading reports from other scout vessels. Every human ship in the outer systems was sending the same message. The alien fleet was massive and heading straight for human colonies. "Sir, we have a response from Earth," Amy said. "Admiral Rodriguez wants to speak with you." The view screen changed to show a woman in a blue uniform. Admiral Lisa Rodriguez had been in charge of human deep space defense for 10 years. She looked calm, but Jake could see the steel in her eyes. "Captain Morrison, how long until they reach New Haven Colony?" she asked. "About 6 days, Admiral. They're moving fast, but not as fast as they could. I think they want to arrive together as one big fleet." "Good. That gives us time to finish our preparations." Lisa paused. "Jake, I want you to keep watching them, but stay hidden. We need to know everything about these aliens before they arrive." "Yes, ma'am." "What about the colonists on New Haven?" "They're already being moved to safety. New Haven is going to become something special." Lisa's smile was cold. "The aliens think they're coming to hunt helpless humans. They have no idea what's really waiting for them." After the call ended, Jake turned to his crew. "You heard the Admiral. We stay hidden, and we watch. Amy, I want you to record everything about those ships. How they move, how they talk to each other, what kind of weapons they have." "Already on it, Captain," Amy replied. "But, sir, there's something else. I've been listening to their communications. They're not just planning to attack New Haven. They have a list of 12 human worlds they want to hit." Jake felt a chill run down his spine. 12 worlds. That's almost half our colonies. Yes, sir. But here's the strange part. They keep talking about how easy this will be. They say humans are weak and stupid. They think we don't even know they exist. Jake almost laughed. The aliens had no idea how wrong they were. Humans had been watching them for months. Every ship movement, every communication, every battle tactic had been recorded and studied. Human scientists had been working day and night to understand alien technology. They're in for a big surprise, Jake said quietly. On Earth, Admiral Rodriguez was meeting with the Human Defense Council. The room was full of the most important military leaders in human space. General Pete Davis, the head of ground forces, was showing pictures of the alien ships. Each ship can hold about 5,000 aliens, he said. They have powerful weapons and strong shields. In a straight fight, they would probably win. But we're not planning a straight fight, said Dr. Alan Foster, the head of Human Science Division. We've been studying these aliens for 8 months. We know their weaknesses. What weaknesses? Asked General Maria Santos, who led the Human Special Forces. They never changed their tactics, Dr. Foster explained. They've been using the same battle plans for centuries. They always attack the same way. They expect their enemies to be scared and confused. Admiral Rodriguez stood up. But humans are not scared and confused. We've been preparing for this day since we first traveled to the stars. We always knew we would meet dangerous aliens someday. What are your orders, Admiral? Asked General Santos. We let them come, Rodriguez said. We let them think they're hunting helpless humans. But when they arrive, they'll find out who the real hunters are. The meeting continued for hours. Every detail was planned. Every ship was given orders. Every colony was prepared. The aliens thought they were coming to hunt humans. But humans had been preparing to hunt them. Captain Morrison's ship continued to watch the alien fleet. Jake could see they were getting closer to New Haven. Soon, the real test would begin. The aliens would learn that humans were not prey. They were predators who had been waiting patiently for the perfect moment to strike. Captain, Amy said quietly, I almost feel sorry for them. They have no idea what's coming. Jake nodded. They've spent so long hunting weak species that they forgot what it's like to face real hunters. They're about to get a lesson they'll never forget. The alien fleet moved closer to human space. In 6 days, they would reach New Haven Colony. They expected to find frightened humans running and hiding. Instead, they would find something much more dangerous. They would find humans who had been waiting for them. The alien fleet arrived at New Haven Colony exactly when Captain Morrison said they would. Huntmaster Zektar stood on the bridge of his command ship, looking down at the planet below. The world looked peaceful. Green fields covered most of the land. Small cities dotted the landscape. Rivers ran between rolling hills. It looks empty, said one of his officers. I don't see any ships or defense systems. Good, Zektar growled. The humans are hiding like all prey species do. They think if they stay quiet, we won't find them. He turned to his weapons officer. Send down the scout ships. Find where the humans are hiding. 20 small alien ships left the main fleet and headed toward the planet. Each ship carried 50 Veltar warriors. They were excited about the hunt. It had been months since they had found new prey. Down on the planet. Engineer Pete Davis watched the alien ships through his binoculars. He was hiding in a building that looked empty from the outside, but the inside was full of weapons and control systems. Pete smiled as he counted the alien ships. 20 ships, just like we expected, he said into his radio. Everyone ready? Ready, came the reply from Sergeant Maria Santos. She was hiding with her squad in what looked like an old farm building, but the building was actually a weapons bunker. Let them land. We want them to get comfortable. The alien ships landed in the main square of New Haven's biggest city. The Veltar warriors came out slowly, looking around for any sign of danger. They had done this same thing on 40 different worlds. It was always the same. The prey would hide, and the Veltar would find them. Spread out, ordered the lead Veltar warrior. Check every building. The humans are here somewhere. The aliens moved through the city streets. They kicked down doors and smashed windows. They were looking for hiding humans. What they didn't know was that the humans had left weeks ago. Every building was empty, but every building was also a trap. The first Veltar warrior walked into a shop that sold food. As soon as he stepped inside, sensors detected his body heat. The sensors sent a signal to Pete Davis in his control room. Pete pressed a button, and the building exploded. The blast was perfectly timed. It killed the warrior instantly, but didn't damage the buildings next to it. The other Veltar warriors heard the explosion and ran toward the sound. They thought their friend had found hiding humans. "Careful," said their leader. "The humans might have weapons." But as more warriors entered buildings, more explosions happened. Each building was set up to explode when aliens walked inside. Pete Davis had turned the entire city into a giant trap. "This is impossible," said one of the Veltar warriors. "How? Do the humans know exactly where we are?" They didn't know that every street, every building, and every corner had hidden cameras. The humans had been watching them from the moment they landed. Dr. Alan Foster was in a bunker miles away, studying everything the aliens did. "Interesting," he said to his assistant. "They move in groups of 5. They always check the biggest. Buildings first. And look at this. They have blind spots on their left side." Foster was recording everything. Every movement, every reaction, every mistake the aliens made. This information would help human soldiers fight them better. Up in space, Huntmaster Zeke Tar was getting worried. Half of his scout warriors were dead, and he still hadn't found any humans. "What's happening down there?" he demanded. "The humans have booby traps everywhere," reported one of his officers. "Our warriors are being killed one by one. Then send more warriors. Send 100 ships instead of 20. But before Zektar could send more ships, something else happened. The human soldiers finally showed themselves. Sergeant Santos and her squad came out of their hiding places. They were wearing special armor that protected them from alien weapons. The human soldiers moved fast and smart. They knew exactly where the aliens were because they had been watching them through cameras. They also knew how the aliens fought because they had been studying them for months. "Remember," Santos said to her squad, "aim for the gap between their armor plates. That's where they're weakest." The human weapons were specially designed to fight the Veltar. They fired bullets that could punch through alien armor. They also had grenades that made sounds that hurt alien ears. The battle in the city was quick and brutal. The aliens were strong and dangerous, but they were confused and scared. They had never fought an enemy that seemed to know their every move. "How do they know where we are?" screamed one alien warrior. "How do they know our weak spots?" yelled another. The humans fought like they had been planning this battle for years. Because they had. Every tactic, every weapon, every move had been practiced hundreds of times. Within 2 hours, all the alien warriors on the planet were dead. The humans had lost only 3 soldiers. It was the most one-sided battle in Veltar history. Huntmaster Zektar stared at the reports from the planet. He couldn't believe what he was reading. This is impossible. No prey species has ever fought back like this. "Sir," said his communications officer, "I'm getting strange readings from our long-range sensors. There are ships hiding behind the moons of this system." "What kind of ships?" "Human ships, sir. Lots of them." Zektar felt cold fear creep up his spine. "How many ships?" At least 60, sir. Maybe more. They've been hiding there the whole time. For the first time in his life, Zektar realized he might have made a terrible mistake. The humans weren't running and hiding like prey. They were waiting and watching like predators. Sir, another officer sighed, we're losing contact with our other hunting fleets. The ones attacking the other human worlds? What do you mean, losing contact? They're not responding to our calls. Their last messages said they were under attack by human ships that seemed to know exactly where they were. Zektar's blood turned to ice. The humans hadn't just been preparing to defend one world. They had been preparing to fight back across their entire territory. Sir, the communications officer said, his voice shaking, we're receiving a message from the human ships. They want to talk to you. The main screen lit up, showing a human woman in a military uniform. Admiral Rodriguez looked calm and confident. Behind her, Zektar could see the bridge of a human warship. Huntmaster Zektar, she said, my name is Admiral Rodriguez. I think it's time we had a conversation. You killed my warriors, Zektar snarled. Your warriors came to our world to hunt our people, Rodriguez replied. We simply defended ourselves. But we've been watching you for months. We know about your empire. We know about the species you've enslaved. We know about your plans to attack 12 human worlds. Zektar felt a chill of terror. How do you know all that? Because we've been listening to your communications. We've been studying your ships. We've been preparing for this day since we first detected your empire. Rodriguez smiled coldly. You made one big mistake, Huntmaster. You thought you were coming to hunt helpless prey. But humans are not prey. We are predators, and we've been hunting you. The screen went dark. A moment later, alarms began sounding throughout the Veltar fleet. Human ships were dropping there. Stealth fields all around them. The hunters had become the hunted. The space around New Haven Colony suddenly filled with human ships. They appeared from behind moons, from inside asteroid fields, and from the shadows of gas giant planets. Captain Morrison's ship, the Nightfall, was among them. For weeks, they had been waiting for this moment. All ships, this is Admiral Rodriguez, came the voice over the communication system. Execute attack pattern Alpha. Remember, we know exactly how they fight. Stick to the plan. Commander Ryan Bell led the first wave of human fighter ships. His squadron of 12 small fighters moved fast toward the alien fleet. The Veltar ships were huge compared to human fighters, but that was exactly what the humans wanted. Remember what we learned in the simulators, Bell said to his pilots. Their big guns can't turn fast enough to track small targets. Get in close and hit their shield generators. The human pilots had trained for this battle using computer simulations built from months of watching the Veltar. They knew where every weapon was placed on the alien ships. They knew how fast the ships could turn. They knew exactly where to hit them to cause the most damage. The first alien ship tried to shoot at Bell's fighter, but the human ship was too small and too fast. It darted between the alien's weapon blasts like a bird flying through rain. Bell's fighter fired a missile directly at the alien ship's shield generator. The missile hit perfectly, and the alien ship's shields went down. Nice shot, Bell, said another pilot. Their shields are down, moving in for the kill. More human fighters swarmed around the defenseless alien ship. They hit it with everything they had. Within minutes, the huge alien warship was burning and high. Dead in space. Hunt, Master Zektar, watched in horror as his ships were destroyed one by one. How are they doing this? He screamed. Our ships are 10 times bigger than theirs. The humans are using swarm tactics, reported his tactical officer. They attack in groups, like insects. Our weapons are designed to fight other big ships. Not tiny fast ones. then adjust our tactics. Fight back. We're trying, sir, but they seem to know exactly what we're going to do before we do it. Every time we try to change our formation, they're already moving to counter it. What Zektar didn't know was that the humans had been studying Veltar battle tactics for months. Every formation, every maneuver, every strategy had been recorded and analyzed. The humans had practiced fighting the Veltar hundreds of times. In simulators, on the surface of New Haven, Colonel Steve Murphy was coordinating the ground battle. The few Veltar warriors who had survived the first attack were trying to regroup. But they were surrounded by human soldiers who seemed to be everywhere at once. Team Alpha moved to position 7, Murphy said into his radio. Team Beta, cover. Their escape route? Team Gamma, prepare to capture any survivors. The human soldiers moved like they were performing a dance they had practiced many times. Every movement was planned. Every position was chosen for maximum advantage. The Veltar warriors were strong and dangerous, but they were confused and scared. How do they know where we are? One alien warrior asked another. I don't know, his friend replied. It's like they can see through walls. The humans could see through walls. They had sensors that could detect alien body heat. They had cameras that could see in the dark. They had computers that could predict where the aliens would move next. The most important advantage the humans had was knowledge. Intelligence officer Janet Clark had spent months breaking the Veltar communication codes. She knew about their military ranks, their battle plans, and their weaknesses. Colonel Murphy, Janet said over the radio, the alien in the red armor is their leader. If you capture him, the others will surrender. Roger that, Janet. Team Alpha, target the red armor. The human soldiers closed in on the alien leader. They used weapons that fired nets to capture him alive. Within minutes, the alien commander was wrapped up and helpless. Just as Janet had predicted, the other alien warriors stopped fighting and surrendered. Up in space, the battle was going badly for the Veltar. They had lost 15 ships and hadn't destroyed a single human vessel. Their formation was broken, and they were scattered across the solar system. Sir, said Zektar as communications officer, we're getting reports from our other fleets. They're under attack too. Every human world we planned to hit was ready for us. How is that possible? The humans knew we were coming. They knew when, they knew where, and they knew how many ships we had. Every single attack was a trap. Zektar felt something he had never felt before in his life. Fear. Real, cold fear. The Veltar had been the galaxy's greatest predators for 1,000 years. No species had ever fought back successfully. But the humans weren't just fighting back. They were winning. Sir, another officer said, the human ships are moving into a new formation. They're surrounding us. Zektar looked at the tactical display. The human ships were positioning themselves in a perfect circle around the Veltar fleet. It was a classic hunting formation. The humans were treating the Veltar like prey. They're hurting us, Zektar realized, just like we do to other species. They're making sure we can't escape. Captain Morrison's ship, the Nightfall, moved closer to Zektar's command ship. Morrison had been watching the Veltar for weeks. He knew this ship, and he knew its weaknesses. Admiral Rodriguez, Morrison said over the communication system, I'm in position to disable the command ship. Should I take the shot? Negative, Captain. We want their leader alive. Use the neural disruptor. It will shut down their ship without killing anyone. The neural disruptor was a new human weapon. It sent out waves that confused alien computer systems. It was designed specifically to work against Veltar technology. Morrison fired the neural disruptor at Zektar's ship. The weapon hit the alien vessel, and all its systems went dead. The ship was alive but helpless, floating in space like a dead fish. This is Admiral Rodriguez to all Veltar ships. came the voice over the communication system. Your command ship is disabled. Your leader is captured. You have two choices. Surrender now or be destroyed. One by one, the remaining Veltar ships powered down their weapons. They had never surrendered before in their history. But they had also never faced an enemy like the humans. Dr. Alan Foster was monitoring the battle from his research ship. He was amazed by what he was seeing. Incredible, he said to his assistant. The humans didn't just win. They won without losing a single ship. How did we do it, Doctor? Preparation, Foster replied. We studied them for months. We learned their weaknesses. We practiced fighting them. When they finally arrived, we were ready for them. The Battle of New Haven was over. The Veltar fleet was captured or destroyed. But this was just the beginning. The humans had been preparing for much more than just defending one world. Admiral, Rodriguez opened a communication channel to all human ships. Phase 1 is complete. All ships, prepare for Phase 2. We're going on the offensive. The humans had spent months learning about the Veltar Empire. They knew where the alien bases were. They knew which worlds were being attacked. They knew how to find the rest of the Veltar fleet. The hunters had become the hunted. And the humans were just getting started. Huntmaster Zektar was brought aboard the human command ship in energy chains. He had never been captured before. In his entire life, he had been the one doing the capturing. Now he was the prisoner, and he didn't like how it felt. Admiral Rodriguez met him in the ship's interrogation room. The room was simple and clean, nothing like the dark torture chambers on Veltar ships. Zektar was surprised when the Admiral sat down across from him like they were having a normal conversation. You're wondering why we're not torturing you, Rodriguez said. That's because humans are not like you. We don't hurt prisoners unless we have to. Then why am I here? Zektar growled. Because we need information. We know about your empire. We know about the worlds you've attacked. But we need to know about the ones you're planning to attack. Zektar laughed. You think I will tell you anything? I am a huntmaster. I have been hunting prey for 200 years. I will never help you. You don't have to help us, Rodriguez said calmly. We already know most of what we need to know. We've been listening to your communications for months. We know about your other fleets. We know about your slave worlds. We know about your plans to attack the Kefmiran system next week. Zektar's eyes went wide. The attack on the Kefmiran was supposed to be secret. Only the highest-ranking Veltar knew about it. How do you know about that? Because we've been watching you much longer than you think. We've had spy ships following your fleets for almost a year. We've been breaking your codes and reading your messages. We know everything. While Rodriguez was talking to Zektar, Dr. Alan Foster was studying the captured Veltar technology. He had always been fascinated by alien science, but what he found surprised him. This is amazing, he said to his research team. Their technology is actually very old. These weapons and ships are based on designs that are hundreds of years old. Is that bad? Asked one of his assistants. Not bad, just ... boring. They've been using the same technology for centuries. They never had to improve it because they never met anyone who could fight back. They got lazy. Foster pulled up a comparison chart on his computer. Look at this. In the past 50 years, humans have developed faster engines, better weapons, and stronger shields. But the Veltar technology is exactly the same as it was 50 years ago. So we're more advanced than they are? In some ways, yes. But more importantly, we're more creative. We adapt and change. They don't. Across the galaxy, other human fleets, we're putting this creativity to work. Captain Lisa Grant was leading a rescue mission to the Kefmiran system. The peaceful Kefmiran people had no idea that a Veltar hunting fleet was coming for them. How long until the Veltar ships arrive? Grant asked her navigator. 3 days, Captain. But we'll be there tomorrow. Good. That gives us time to warn the Kethmiran and help them prepare. Grant's ship, the Defender, dropped out of hyperspace near the Kethmiran home world. The planet was beautiful, covered in purple forests and silver cities. The Kethmiran were a gentle people who had never fought a war. "This is Captain Grant of the human ship Defender," she said over the communication system. "We need to speak with your government immediately. You are in great danger." The Kethmiran leader, a tall being with blue skin and 4 arms, appeared. On the view screen, he looked confused and worried. "Danger? What kind of danger?" "A species called the Veltar is coming to attack your world. They will be here in 3 days. They plan to capture your people and use them as slaves." "But we have no enemies," the Kethmiran said. "We are peaceful. We have never harmed anyone." "That doesn't matter to the Veltar. They attack peaceful worlds because they're easier to conquer. But we can help you fight back." For the next day, human and Kethmiran worked together to prepare defenses. The humans taught the Kethmiran how to use weapons and how to hide from attackers. They also set up the same kind of traps that had worked so well at New Haven. The Veltar hunting fleet arrived. They expected to find a defenseless world. Instead, they found a planet ready for war. The Kethmiran had learned fast, and with human help, they were ready to fight. The battle was quick and brutal. The Veltar landed their troops, but they walked into ambush after ambush. The gentle Kethmiran had become fierce defenders of their home. With human weapons and human tactics, they destroyed the Veltar ground forces. In space, Captain Grant's ship fought alongside improvised Kethmiran defense ships. The aliens were confused and scared. This was supposed to be an easy hunt, but it had become a nightmare. "This is impossible," said the Veltar fleet commander. "The Kethmiran are peaceful. They don't even have weapons." "They do now," Grant said over the communication system. "And they have something else, too. They have friends who are willing to help them fight." The Veltar fleet was destroyed. Not a single alien ship escaped. The survivors were captured and taken prisoner. The Kethmiran were free, and they had learned an important lesson. Sometimes even peaceful people have to fight for their freedom. This same scene was playing out across the galaxy. Wherever the Veltar had planned to attack, human ships arrived first. The humans warned the local species and helped them prepare. World after world that should have fallen to the Veltar instead became a trap. Sergeant Danny Wu was leading a special mission to one of the Veltar slave worlds. The planet was a prison where the aliens kept thousands of beings from dozens of different species. These prisoners had been captured during previous hunts. "Remember," Wu said to his team, "we're not here to fight. We're here to rescue. Get the prisoners out safely and let the Veltar guards surrender if they want to." Wu's team moved through the slave facility like shadows. They had studied the building plans for weeks. They knew where all the guards were and how to avoid them. They also knew where the prisoners were being kept. The rescue operation was perfect. Wu's team freed over 3,000 prisoners without firing a single shot. The Veltar guards were so surprised that most of them surrendered immediately. They had never seen humans move so fast and so quietly. The freed prisoners were from many different species. Some had been captives for years. Others were recent captures. All of them had stories to tell about the Veltar Empire. "They have bases on 20 different worlds," said one prisoner, "a bird-like creature with gold feathers. They use slave labor to build ships and weapons." "They're planning to attack the Galactic trade hub next," said another prisoner, a creature that looked like a walking tree. "They want to capture the trade routes." Wu recorded everything the prisoners told him. This information would help the humans plan their next moves. The Veltar Empire was bigger than they had thought, but it was also weaker. The aliens had been relying on fear and surprise. Now that their enemies knew they were coming, the Veltar were losing every battle. Back on the human command ship, Admiral Rodriguez was reviewing reports from across the galaxy. Every human fleet was reporting the same thing. The Veltar were being defeated everywhere they attacked. "It's incredible," said General Santos. "In just 1 week, we've rescued 12 worlds and captured 15 Veltar fleets. Their entire empire is falling apart." "They never learned how to fight a real war," Rodriguez replied. "They only knew how to hunt helpless prey. When they met real opposition, they didn't know what to do." Dr. Foster joined the conversation. "I've been studying the prisoners we've taken. The Veltar society is very rigid. They never question their leaders. They never change their tactics. They just follow orders. That's their weakness," Rodriguez said. "They can't adapt. But we can, and that's why we're winning." The Admiral looked at the star map on the wall. It showed the locations of human fleets across the galaxy. Each fleet was hunting down Veltar forces and freeing their prisoners. The hunters had become the hunted, and the humans were winning. "What's our next target?" asked General Santos. Rodriguez smiled. "The Veltar homeworld. It's time to end this once and for all." The massive human fleet approached the Veltar homeworld of Kethver. Admiral Rodriguez looked out at the hundreds of ships that had gathered for this final battle. There were human warships, but also ships from dozens of other species. The Keth Mirren had sent their best vessels. The freed slaves had built new ships to join the fight. Even species that had never fought before were ready to help end the Veltar Empire. "Admiral," said Captain Morrison from the Nightfall, "we're receiving a transmission from the planet. The Veltar leadership wants to talk." "Put them through," Rodriguez ordered. The view screen showed an old Veltar with golden scales and many scars. He was the High Hunt Master, the leader of the entire Veltar Empire. His name was Velkorath, and he had been ruling for over 300 years. "Human Admiral," Velkorath said, his voice full of anger, "you have attacked our hunting fleets. Without cause. We demand that you leave our territory immediately." Rodriguez almost laughed. "Without cause? You attacked 12 human worlds. You've been enslaving peaceful species for 1,000 years. You've killed billions of innocent beings. Those were legal hunts," Velkorath replied. "We are the apex predators of this galaxy. It is our right to hunt lesser species. You're right?" Rodriguez's voice turned cold. "You never had the right to hurt innocent people. And you're not apex predators anymore." "We are." The conversation ended, and the battle began. But it wasn't like the previous battles. This time, the humans weren't just fighting the Veltar. They were fighting alongside all the species that the Veltar had terrorized. Captain Morrison led a mixed squadron of human and alien ships. The coordination was perfect. Each species brought their own strengths to the battle. The Kethmiran ships were fast and could dodge enemy fire. The freed slaves knew exactly how Veltar weapons worked. The humans provided the tactics and leadership that held everyone together. "All ships, this is Admiral Rodriguez," came the voice over the communication system. "Remember, we're not here to destroy the Veltar people. We're here to stop their empire, disable their ships when possible, capture their leaders, end their ability to hunt other species." The space battle around Kethver was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. Hundreds of ships from dozens of species worked together like a single organism. The Veltar defenders were brave and fought hard, but they were completely overwhelmed. "Their defense grid is down," reported Commander Bell. "All orbital weapons are destroyed. The way to the planet is clear." On the surface of Kethvar, Colonel Murphy was leading the ground assault. But this wasn't like the battles on other worlds. The Veltar homeworld was heavily fortified with millions of defenders. This would be the hardest fight yet. "Remember the plan," Murphy said to his soldiers. "We're not trying to conquer the planet. We just need to capture the government buildings and force their leaders to surrender." The human soldiers moved through the alien cities like they had been planning this invasion for years. Because they had. Every street, every building, every defensive position had been studied and mapped. The months of preparation were paying off. The Veltar soldiers fought desperately to defend their homeworld. But they were facing an enemy that seemed to know their every move. The humans had studied Veltar tactics so completely that they could predict what the aliens would do before they did it. Sergeant Santos led her Special Forces team to the main government building. This was where the High Hunt Master and his council were hiding. The building was heavily defended, but Santos had a plan. "Team Alpha, create a distraction at the front entrance," she ordered. "Team Beta, hit the side entrance. Team Gamma, follow me through the underground tunnels." The attack on the government building was swift and precise. The Veltar guards were brave, but they were confused by the human tactics. They had never fought an enemy that attacked from 3 directions at once. Within 2 hours, Santos and her team had captured the entire Veltar leadership. High Hunt Master Velkorath was taken prisoner along with his entire council. The capital of the Veltar Empire was in human hands. Dr. Foster was studying the Veltar government computers. What he found there amazed and horrified him. "Admiral, you need to see this," he said over the communication system. "What did you find, Doctor?" "Records of every hunt the Veltar have conducted for the past 1,000 years. They've attacked over 400 worlds. They've enslaved nearly 1 billion beings. And they were planning to expand their operations." Rodriguez felt sick. The Veltar Empire was even worse than they had imagined. What were their expansion plans? They were going to attack the core worlds of the galaxy. Earth, the Kathmiran homeworld, the galactic trade hub. They wanted to control all the major trade routes and turn the entire galaxy into their hunting ground. But those plans would never happen now. With their leadership captured and their fleets destroyed, the Veltar Empire was finished. Admiral Rodriguez addressed the entire galaxy from the captured Veltar capital. Representatives from hundreds of species watched as she spoke. "People of the galaxy," she said, "the Veltar Empire is ended. Their leaders are captured. Their fleets are destroyed. They will never again hunt innocent species for sport or profit." The crowd of aliens cheered. Many of them had lost friends and family to Veltar hunts. They had never thought this day would come. "But we are not here as conquerors," Rodriguez continued. "Humans do not want to rule the galaxy. We want to protect it. We propose the creation of a galactic defense alliance. Any species that wants to live in peace will be protected from those who would hunt them." High Hunt Master Velkorath was brought before the Galactic Assembly. He looked old and defeated. For the first time in his life, he was not the predator. He was the prey. "Velkorath of the Veltar," Rodriguez said formally, "you are accused of crimes against 1 billion innocent beings. You have 1 chance to speak before sentence is passed." The old alien looked around at the faces watching him. He saw species that his people had hunted and enslaved. He saw the anger in their eyes, but also something else, mercy. "I do not understand you humans," Velkorath said quietly. "We came to hunt you. We planned to enslave your worlds and eat your people, but you did not destroy us when you could have." "Why? Because that's not who we are," Rodriguez replied. "We are predators, yes. But we use our strength to protect, not to harm. We hunt those who prey on the innocent. We are the guardians of the galaxy now." The sentence was announced. The Veltar would be allowed to live, but their empire was ended forever. Their weapons would be destroyed. Their leaders would be imprisoned. Their people would be watched to make sure they never again tried to hunt other species. Many of the freed Veltar slaves chose to return to their homeworlds. Others decided to stay and help build the new Galactic Alliance. The galaxy was entering a new age of peace and cooperation. Captain Morrison returned to patrolling the Outer Rim, but now he was not alone. A network of ships from many species watched the dark spaces between the stars. They were looking for new threats, new predators who might try to harm innocent worlds. "Captain," said Lieutenant Carter from her sensor station, "I'm detecting unknown ships approaching the Rigel system." Morrison smiled. "Let's go take a look. If they're peaceful, we'll welcome them to the galaxy. If they're not—" He paused. "Well, they'll learn that humans are already on the prowl." At nightfall turned toward the unknown ships. Behind them, the rest of the Galactic Patrol fleet followed. The hunters had become the guardians, and the galaxy was safe. The age of the Veltar was over. The age of human protection had begun. And in the dark spaces between the stars, predators learned to fear a new name. They learned to fear the humans, who came not to hunt the innocent, but to hunt those who would harm them. The galaxy had found its true apex predators, and they used their power not to destroy, but to protect.